Hi there, and welcome to Hope Walks into a Bar Looking for Change. Today we venture from the salad bowl of Salinas to the counterculture of Berkeley, where Daniel Pinchbeck, author of 2012 and Breaking Open the Head, offers his thoughts on alien abductions, crop circles, psychedelics, and a global shift of consciousness around the Mayan prophecies of 2012. Buckle your seatbelt, space cadets. It could be one wild ride.
The first one was called Breaking Open the Head, and that book was about psychedelics and shamanism. And I was a journalist, like a secular materialist in New York, and I had an existential crisis, spiritual emergency. Remembered my psychedelic experiences in college, and decided that I would, study those because they seemed to be the only experiences in my life where I'd had a deep opening to the potential that some other dimensions of consciousness were as valid as normal waking consciousness, and maybe had clues or keys to the nature of what's up. So at that point, I started getting assignments. I took ayahuasca for the Village Voice. Then I went to West Africa and went through a Bwiti initiation, taking iboga. And then I went to the Amazon, worked with ayahuasca, sequoia. How many people here have been in the Amazon and have worked with ayahuasca?
Yeah.
What's that?
Different question.
You're right.
Where's the ayahuasca generally? Tomorrow? Where? So I had a number of experiences during the course of the first book, which took me out of the scientific materialist paradigm and made me aware that there was like a transpersonal dimension that I had not known of before. So shamans would access information about my childhood, people would get information about future events which would then happen. I also, through some psychedelic experiences, had what seemed to be occult, truly occult experiences where spirits would follow me around and stuff would fall off the walls, so that I had to explore the whole Western occult tradition. And so that I ended up shifting by the end of Breaking Open the Head into an acceptance of shamanism as a valid kind of knowledge system. And so then I realized that a lot of cultures around the world seem to be talking about this time as a prophecy transformation time. Cultures that maintained the shamanic culture and had access to these other ways of knowing and sort of visionary knowledge. So I felt like I had to take that more seriously. Then I had a number of synchronicities around 2012 and the end of the Mayan calendar, which seemed to indicate really strongly. It was like this huge finger pointing me to go forward and go deeper into that. So then I got very obsessed with trying to understand the ideas of Terence McKenna, Jose Arguelles, and other people around this transformation process, and also indigenous cultures, what they have to say, and then also trying to bring in Western thinkers like Nietzsche and Carl Jung and Rudolf Steiner, and so that trying to create a foundation for a different understanding or knowledge system. And then the book covered a lot of different areas, including the crop circles and alien abductions and relationships and sexuality and time. Time was a big theme of the books. I think a major part of this shift is a different way of experiencing time.
Good. Yeah. But it says the girl who can't handle time.
Yeah. And then I've continued to have because I try not to be a fundamentalist around the year 2012 or around the date, but I see it more that we can definitely see that we're in a kind of accelerating process that that I don't know exactly, maybe they just demarcated a whole time period. But then I continue to have very strange synchronicities around the particular date. So last summer I visited England and I was in the area where the crop circles are, and on the last day that I was able to visit some of the crop circles around Avebury, a new one had just popped up the day before, so we went to see it, and it was a huge formation that depicted depicted the solar system as it will be on December 21st, 2012. So
Our
solar system. So you could go out and like Saturn and little different planets and stuff like that. So stuff like that, continues to kind of come up. So I feel it's like becoming more literal in a way, but I still, my way of thinking about it is that it's not really like necessarily like, true or false at this point. It's more like the whole thing is coming into presence. It's almost like they're like this interdimensional or extraterrestrial levels of these other types of being are kind of like, it's almost like out of phase dimensionally with our world, and sort of coming, more and more into phase. And I think there's some indications that it's, moving towards some type of denouement or crescendo. But of course, that may fade away again. I think it has in the past. More and more UFO sightings. Like 2008, apparently was the largest number of UFO sightings in the world. There's the Disclosure Project that Stephen Greer put together. They have all these people from the military coming out to talk about experiences with UFOs. And then even the Vatican, like the chief astronomer of the Vatican last year, said that if you're Catholic, it's now okay to believe in extraterrestrials, and that if extraterrestrials exist, they wouldn't have to be converted to original sin.
They wouldn't have committed it.
They wouldn't have to be converted to Catholicism because they never would have committed original sin.
This image provides a visual for the Mayan calendar and its prophecy, and it shows the extreme acceleration of time in our current era. The Mayan calendar began at the Big Bang, roughly 16,400,000,000 years ago. We spent roughly 820 million years going from animals to primates, and 41 million years becoming human. Once we picked up language, well, we gathered a little momentum. Daniel mentions the age of industrialism, a cycle of 256 years in 2012 where he cites Kalaman. Pinchbeck states, the 256-year cycle of 13 cartoons that began with the Industrial Revolution, which Kalaman dubs the planetary underworld, reached its darkest point during the fifth night of 1932 to 1952, the period of Nazism, the Second World War, the Holocaust, and the dropping of atomic bombs on Japanese cities. The cycle of 13 tunes that began in November 1999 will likewise reach its midnight hour, its involuntary crescendo during the year 2008. Interestingly, various studies on the imminent peak oil prices point to 2008 as the year when resources of energy, food, and water will become critically stressed. Kalaman proposes that this period could see a global financial and ecological collapse, accompanied by nightmarish misuses of power on the part of the ruling elites. End quote.
Way of thinking about it now potentially is that as a hypothesis, we might be on the cusp of a transition as a species from the phase of biological or physical evolution to psychic evolution. And that, if that was to be the case, that next level of evolution, might happen in a much more compressed or concentrated time frame.